3 words, Super Bowl 61. That's not a dream. That's the target. And if you're a Chicago Bears fan right now, you can feel it. Something is building. Before we go any further, if you bleed navy and orange like I do, hit that like button, share this with another Bears fan, and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. The confetti has fallen. The Super Bowl is officially in the books. Every single team in the NFL is now in off-season mode. And the Chicago Bears. They've quietly been operating in that mindset for weeks. But here's the difference. This off-season doesn't feel like survival. It feels like preparation. We're not talking about rebuilding. We're not talking about maybe in a few years. We're asking a real question now. What would it actually take for the Bears to be the last team standing at Super Bowl 61? And let me throw this at you right away. Do you honestly believe this team is closer than people want to admit? Because when you really break it down, there are 5 clear, non-negotiable moves that can turn this team from dangerous into dominant. Let's start with priority A. No debate. No hesitation. The pass rush must improve. Not slightly. Not marginally. Dramatically. The Bears finished 31st in pass rush win rate. 31st. That's not a championship stat, that's a liability. And yes, there were attempts to fix it. Dale Odeyingbo was brought in but got hurt. Grady Jarrett was solid. Montez Sweat did his job. But solid isn't enough if you want to lift the Lombardi Trophy. This defensive line needs more dogs. Period. There are options everywhere. You explore a massive trade. You pursue elite edge talent like Max Crosby. You look at a proven disruptor like Danielle Hunter. You consider veterans such as Trey Hendrickson or even Khalil Mack. You attack the draft for an explosive edge rusher. You double up at defensive tackle and edge. You get aggressive. Because here's the scary part. The Bears led the NFL in takeaways despite not being able to consistently pressure the quarterback. That's impressive, but it's also dangerous. Turnover numbers usually balance out over time. If those takeaways drop and the pass rush doesn't improve, that's a problem waiting to explode. You don't need to be top 5 in pressure rate. But you cannot be second to last. Not if you're serious about February football. Now let's flip to the back end of the defense. Speed. The Bears need more of it. Especially in the back 7. The secondary has pieces. Jalen Johnson is legit. Kyler Gordon changes games when he's healthy. Just look at how he flew around in the playoffs. But availability matters. Jaquan Brisker's future needs clarity. Kevin Byard likely returns. But overall, it felt like this defense slowed down late in the season. Linebacker especially. T.J. Edwards battled injuries. Tremaine Edmonds is talented, but decisions have to be made. Coverage and space became an issue down the stretch. You could feel it. That half step of hesitation. That extra yard allowed. In today's NFL, that's the difference between a punt and 6 points. So how do you fix it? You draft speed. You sign speed. You develop speed. You find linebackers who can run with tight ends, who can cover in space, who can close fast. When the pass rush improves and the defense gets faster, that unit can leap forward in a serious way. Now let's talk about the most important piece of this entire puzzle. Caleb Williams. He already took a major step this season. But if the Bears are going to contend for a Super Bowl, he has to take another one. Consistency is the word. The flashes. Elite. The playmaking. Special. The toughness in big moments. Undeniable. But championship quarterbacks dominate for 60 minutes, not just stretches. Footwork. Lower body mechanics. Accuracy on routine throws. That's where growth happens. And here's the thing, he already knows it. He's talked about tightening up mechanics. He understands that the next jump isn't about highlight throws. It's about eliminating wasted plays. If Caleb becomes more consistent, if he turns those flashes into routine dominance, defensive coordinators across the league are going to lose sleep. So here's your early thought-provoking question. If Caleb Williams takes that next step, how high is this team's ceiling really? Because it feels like we're closer than people want to admit. Now let's widen the lens. It's not just about Caleb. It's about the young core rising with him. Look at this group offensively. Colston Loveland exploded in the second half of the season and looked like one of the top receiving tight ends in football. Rome Odunn showed serious star potential, clean up the drops, stay healthy, and he's a nightmare matchup. Luther Burden flashed electric playmaking ability. Remember that performance against San Francisco? He took over. Darnell Wright. Massive step forward. And he's still ascending. All of these players are under 25. Under 25. With Ben Johnson designing plays, building the run game, and maximizing talent, this offense already looks top 10. Why can't it become top 5? You can run the football. You have Kyle Manengai in the mix. DeAndre Swift remains a threat. The scheme works. The play calling is sharp. The creativity is there. If the young weapons continue to evolve together, this offense won't just be good. It will be feared. Question of the day, and I want you to comment below, is Caleb Williams a top 10 quarterback next season, or does he break into the top 5? No fence sitting. Pick one. Because that answer might define this franchise's next decade. Now for something that often gets overlooked, the clutch factor. This team doesn't panic. Think about that. For a young roster. For a young quarterback. That's rare. They were never truly out of games. Even when trailing late. Even in overtime. They believed. They competed. They executed when it mattered. It didn't always end in victory, but the fight was there. Players and coaches even admitted they don't want to live in cardiac bears mode forever. They want cleaner finishes. More comfortable wins. And that will come with growth. But in the playoffs, you're not blowing teams out every week. You're grinding. You're surviving. You're closing. At some point in a postseason run, you have to gut out a tight one. And this team already feels comfortable in chaos. That's not something you can teach overnight. That's identity. So here's the big one. Are the Chicago Bears legitimate Super Bowl contenders next year? Not hopeful. Not trendy. Legitimate. If the defensive line gets reinforced. If the back seven gets faster. If Caleb sharpens into a consistent killer. If the young core ascends. If the clutch DNA carries over. Why not? Look around the league. There aren't 20 teams with stable quarterback-head coach combinations. There aren't 20 teams with a young offensive core this talented. There aren't 20 teams that led the league in takeaways while still having obvious room to grow. That's staying power. This offseason isn't about hope. It's about execution. Aggressive roster moves. Smart drafting. Health management. Development. No wasted opportunities. Because Super Bowl windows don't stay open forever. But when they crack open, you better be ready to sprint through. And right now, the Bears are standing at the doorway. The offseason is here. The work begins now. And if they handle it the right way, we won't just be talking about improvement next year. We'll be talking about February. Final thoughts. This is the kind of offseason that defines eras, not just seasons. The foundation is already in place, but foundations don't win championships. Execution does. Every move from here on out matters more than ever. The margin between contender and champion is razor thin. And if the Bears attack this moment the right way, the rest of the league is going to feel it.